Hey, Patriarchy here, or Patriarchy for short. I don't want to do this. I don't want to fucking do this. Why did you guys make me do this? I do not want to defend Ann Coulter. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't hate Ann Coulter. I actually find her kind of charming. It's one of these things with her where because you see her on Fox News, some of the things she says, she gets really annoying, and you don't agree with a lot of the things she says, and she is radical. But when you actually read her books, and I have read some of them, and you actually see her in interviews where she's more candid and open and herself, it's actually very informative of the kind of person she is. I'd say Ann Coulter is not as much of a bigot racist as she's made out to be. I'd say she's no worse. I'm not saying she's any better, but she's no worse than anyone on the left. She's not worse than any of those people. Anyone who's on the left who represents them is just as shitty, and they don't get nearly the level of attack Ann Coulter does. But Ann Coulter puts herself out there, and that has to be acknowledged with this with the Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe, which I know everyone's just praising this. Okay, so I'm gonna give the goddamn contrarian opinion that I don't want to give because the problem with this opinion is that it goes against two things here. I'm going against humor, which is subjective. What's funny to people is going to be different. And I'm going to actually deconstruct the humor here and try to prove, well, not prove, but at least argue from my point of view why this is bad comedy. And two, I'm going against the leftist media basic idea that Ann Coulter's shitty. We should attack her for being shitty. Fuck Trump. Fuck Ann Coulter. Fuck the Republicans. So that's one thing. Okay, now Ben Shapiro commented on this, and Adam Carolla, who I'm huge fans of. I love both of them, and they both brought up with the Rob Lowe roast that they thought the jokes would were hypocritical in the sense that they would not be said to a leftist figure or someone like Lena Dunham. I don't entirely agree with that point of view. I've heard a lot of comments about this already trying to defend Anne. I don't think that's the right path to take to defend Ann Coulter in this or show why this was in poor taste. And you're gonna say a roast in poor taste? What the fuck? I love roasts. Okay, roasts are my shit. I've I can't tell how many roasts I've watched, been to, been involved with. Roasts are amazing. I love people insulting you back and forth. Okay, a good roaster is a master fucking ball buster. So I love roast. Don't you dare say that. I understand the concept of a roast. That's part of my problem with this one actually is that I think they kind of went against that. I think they betrayed the basic premise of comedy, which is to be funny. Um, if they weren't funny. But Anne went to this roast. She should have known what was going to happen, and she didn't take the material that was written for her. Now I'm going to look at that a little bit too, because that's a big story too. That because the story was, and I saw this on Joe Rogan's podcast. One of the writers had said that they wrote material for her. She didn't want to do that. She wanted to write her own material, which I think is actually a really cool thing about this is that she actually wanted to write her own material. Now she's not a comedian, but I think it's a lot of I don't know. It shows a lot of character that she took the risk to go write. I know she tried to promote her book and all that stuff, but still, she could have just taken the material and went along with the party, but she wanted to get different, which I think is what you should totally do. If I were to go be part of these Comedy Central roasts, which I think have become pathetically overproduced, and quite frankly, ever since Greg Giraldo died, um, they just went to shit. I mean, I know some of them still have some funny jokes, but really, they're so basic now. The people they bring on just say the most obvious things. It's everyone you expect. The celebrity lineup seems to get lesser and lesser. I mean, this one for Rob Lowe is pathetic. David Spade, real. I mean, it was a bunch of nobodies. I mean, the biggest name there was David fucking Spade. I mean, it was insane. I don't know what the fuck. This was a horrible lineup. Jewel. Yeah, we all want to see Jewel come do jokes. I mean, you couldn't get someone better than Jewel. I don't know, but Anne didn't want to do the joke. She went against it, and um, I honestly, I wouldn't. I would be offended if I was someone to go do. Now, these people are celebrities, so I get that they get jokes written for them. They're not comedians. But why is anyone getting invited to a damn roast? Who's not a comedian? Like, if you have to have the jokes written for you to make fun of someone, you shouldn't be there. I'm pretty sure that Greg Giraldo and Jeffrey Ross, don't have everyone write all their jokes out for them. I mean, that's terrible. If you're gonna come and roast somebody, write your own fucking jokes. That's gonna come from a real place. Um, it's bullshit otherwise. You're not roasting the person. You're reading someone else's material. Uh, fuck that. That's not real. In my opinion. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with performing written material on a stage or anything, but for roasting, I'm completely against it. If you're having somebody write all your jokes for you, that's lazy. Because then you're just reading them. You're just an actor performing jokes that were written for you. You're not actually telling jokes. Big difference. Those are very different things. Okay, so here's the brutal jabs. Now, I brought this up because I'm sick of seeing this. Everyone keeps posting the video, sharing it, blow up like, oh man, they rip Ann Coulter apart. These lines are hilarious. Everyone's quoting it. And everyone I know who's doing that is on the left. Is someone on the left, a Democrat, is liberal, whatnot, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but everyone I know has done that. Because honestly, I think the only way you find any of these jokes funny, except for maybe a couple, is that you completely accept that Ann Coulter's a piece of shit. And that's gonna lie. Therein lies my problem. Not that there's a double standard here. I think they would make fun of someone else. You know, I think they would make fun of Amy Schumer or Lena Dunham really bad, right? They'd make jokes about the pedophilia. However, I don't think these jokes would be as biting and feel as real and not comedic. These really don't feel like jokes as more as just kind of insults. That's what I don't like about it. Here's one from Rob Lowe. Now, Rob Lowe, I love Rob Lowe. I'm not talking shit. Why is Ann Coulter here tonight? Because the right to lifers wanted everyone to see what an abortion looks like up close. That's kind of funny. That's one of the better jokes of the night. Um, Once again, though, that's just kind of like, you have to be like, oh, fuck pro lifers. They're all assholes, which I don't think pro lifers are all. I'm not a pro lifer, but I don't think it's an asshole opinion to have some issues with abortion and not want taxpayers to pay for abortion. I think that's a fair point of view to have. This is from Pete Davidson. Ann Coulter, if you're here, who is scaring the crows away from our crops? Because she's ugly and looks like a scarecrow. That's typical roast humor. She's ugly. Not bad. Everyone kept sharing this, though, like it was brilliant. All the people laughing at this. Once again, I guess, I mean, I don't think Ann Coulter's that ugly. Maybe it's just me, but was kind of a funny joke. Last year we had Martha Stewart who sells sheets, and now we have Ann Coulter who cuts eyes holes in them. Oh, she's racist. Wow. See what? It's that kind of joke. Here, David Spade. Ann seems stiff and conservative, but she gets swallowed in the sheets. Just ask the Klan. I mean, it's sort of like, hey, she's racist. Hey, she's racist. I mean, that's kind of the joke. There's no real punchline. It's not a punchline in the sense that, hey, I'm going to reveal this Ku Klux Klan thing. The punchline from the beginning, and it's a punch, is that she's racist. That's the joke. And that's not funny. You can't just say, like, hey, I'm pointing out this person's racist. Look, they're racist. And the punchline is to reveal that. That means completely and utterly I have to contextually accept your argument that she's a racist. Um, I and that I don't think any of you there are racist. I mean, a lot of these people, I have no doubt, have done awful, shitty fucking things. These celebrities, I have no doubt in my mind. But I don't know. Right there's one of the first ones where it's like, okay, you're saying she's racist. I don't quite get that joke. I get it as a joke, but I don't get why that's funny. I have no idea why just saying that's funny. That would only be funny to me if I hated Ann Coulter. I just completely hated her. That's the joke. Jimmy Carr. Ann Coulter's one of the most repugnant, hateful bitches alive, but it's not too late to change, Ann. You could kill yourself. I mean, that's kind of in humor, but really, once again, it's like when Amy Schumer made that horrible joke years ago uh, to Steve-O about Ryan Dunn. She's like, "Oh, couldn't have been you," and like nobody really laughed. And I think someone said, "Fuck you, Amy." Yeah, it was in poor taste. It wasn't funny. The whole joke was, "I wish you were fucking dead. Your friend died, and I wish you were dead instead." Jesus, I mean, where's the what? I mean, a roast is supposed to be biting, but there's supposed to be something that taps into something real. That's not real. That's just saying that you want Steve-O dead. That's just cruelty. Same thing here. I mean, you want this person dead. You're like, it's a repugnant, hateful bitch. So the thing is, we're on the left. We're all a bunch of celebrity leftists. The audience is all this. We all hate Ann Coulter, so let's all laugh because we want her dead. Because it got huge laughs, and to me, that's like kind of a chuckle. But everyone in the audience is like, "Oh, you want Ann Coulter dead? Yeah, I do too." Peyton Manning. I just realized I'm not the only athlete up here. As you all know, earlier this year, Ann Coulter won the Kentucky Derby. Oh, she's ugly. Okay, I don't mind that one. You can call someone ugly, make fun of their look. She definitely has a horse face or some kind of look to her. I get what people mean. There's definitely, and I could totally get making those jokes. I mean, good for Peyton, whoever wrote that for him. Good job. Nikki Glacier, I think. Ann Coulter has written 11 books, 12 if you count Mein Kampf. Now, I wonder if you actually have read any of those 11 books, or if anyone there has read any of those 11 books. Because just to automatically associate them with Mein Kampf to just make this joke that she's a Nazi, that's the joke here. Uh, Once again, I don't think that's funny. That the context is she's a piece of shit. That's all you're making fun of, is that you think she's a piece of shit. When people make fun of David Hasselhoff eating burgers on the floor of the dumb shit he says, you're making fun of all these things that are actually funny about that person. I don't think it's funny if Ann Coulter's a piece of shit. I think you're all pieces of shit. I mean, I think she's probably a piece of shit, but I don't think that's like funny. Where's the joke? She wrote 11 books, long books, about immigration and her feelings on immigration, and now she thinks the Democratic Party uses immigration to get votes, and she thinks we need to be tighter on illegal immigrants and look at that system, and she believes in immigration laws, that she's hardcore conservative. I mean, yeah, I don't agree with a lot of things she does, but she's no worse than a radical leftist you would have on here. And there's no way I think you'd be calling them a piece of shit this way. There would be jokes. You made fun of Lena Dunham and you made fun of her pedophilia. There's a book where she writes about doing stuff with her sister. That's funny. There's humor there. Just saying like, hey, Ann Coulter wrote, Mein Kampf. Isn't that funny? No. I mean, maybe that's me. I don't know. I don't think that's funny. I think that's a stupid ass joke. Here's Nikki again. The only person you'll ever make happy is the Mexican who digs your grave. That's kind of biting. See, that's a joke. That's hinting at how Ann Coulter is and how she talks about immigrant stuff like that. A Mexican digging a grave, laughing. And it's got some implications, like he's digging a grave, like that's his job. He has a shitty labor job like that. I like that joke. See that I see the humor in that. That's a good roast joke. David Spade. Is Pete white? Is he black? Ann Coulter needs to know so she can decide if she hates him. Once again, she's racist. That's not a joke, David Spade. I mean, there's some humor there with the Pete, the white and black, but I wish that had been more of the focus of the joke instead of just the punchline being Ann's racist. Jewel, as a feminist, all right, well, now I have to disregard everything you say. I can't support everything that's being said up here tonight. But as someone who hates Ann Coulter, I'm delighted. Yeah, that's not even a joke. That's literally you just saying, I hate Ann Coulter. I'm happy that people are being mean to Ann Coulter. That's like one of the worst jokes I've seen at a roast. Now don't get me wrong. Patton Oswalt was making fun of this. Everyone else was making fun of this. A lot of people I love. I get making fun of it. Why the fuck did she go to this? I mean, really, she just got ripped a new asshole, and she knew it was going to happen. There was no way it wasn't going to happen. I mean, she got called in, and she knew they were going to rip apart. And the guy said they were trying to write it to get in on the joke. Now, from what the guy made it sound like, though, he had her to meant her to say that she was a piece of shit. Like it had to start with she's a piece of shit. Also, I don't think she fell as flat as everyone else do. Yes, I think her act was limiting in a lot of ways. It was limited in a lot of ways. She didn't deliver the jokes great. But I still think there was some funny lines, and I don't think she was the worst roaster ever. I don't think it was like, oh my god, you're just awful. I mean, there was no way that audience was going to like any of the jokes she said. There's no fucking way. The audience was against her. It wasn't a fair audience, and any comedian knows this. You have to play to an audience. An audience is not going to be on your side in every area. I give Anne credit; she had balls to go here and do this. Um, so if anything, she probably just went there to promote herself. Let's see. Now we're going to look at the jokes, some of the jokes she said. I'm hoping to persuade you to all vote for Donald Trump. Most of all, I want you, David Spade, because it would prove the media is lying when they say that Trump won't get the vote of a single Spade. Okay, that's a bad joke. That is. I forgot about that one. Rob Lowe's last show called The Grinder. Hard to believe a TV show named after a gay dating app wouldn't be a huge hit. That's kind of funny. Uh, I don't know why that, The Grinder, it's about a gay dating app, wouldn't be a huge hit. That's a fun because that's pointing out how the premise of that show is very stupid. She does not understand humor or joy, Lawrence said about Coulter on Facebook live chat. I don't know how you say she doesn't understand joy. There was no joy in anything that was said. It was only joy in anger. Okay, the Lawrence, along with fellow Earl Shackle, brought on blonde puppet named Coultergeist and read off 6 jokes that Lawrence and others wrote for Coulter. I have to say, Rob, it's nice to finally not be the most hated person in the room. See, I don't think that joke worked. I heard this before. Rob's not the most hated person in the room. That joke wouldn't have worked at that point because everyone was so fucking brutal that for her to come up and say that would make no sense. It really wouldn't. It's because unfortunately, Rob Lowe as someone to roast is an awful choice because Rob Lowe's like a loved, beautiful, happy guy. I don't know why you would roast Rob Lowe even. Peyton Manning, a fellow roaster on the show, is what it says, is a model citizen, and his forehead is a model for the wall that Trump's going to put between the U.S. and Mexico. That's okay. Ralph Macchio's first ever credit was in the movie Up the Academy, playing a character called Chuk Babalazzi. Are you serious? Even Donald Trump thinks it's too racist to call a WAP Chuk Baba. Okay, I'll give him that one. She probably should have said that one. That would be like if Jeff Ross' first credit was a character named Masha Kafite Fish Skresod Zymilberg. I don't know how to pronounce all that shit. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. Zymillienberg. And before you ask, Jeff, I wouldn't fuck you with Hillary Clinton's dick. The punchline needs a little work. The name stuff, you have something there to make fun of the names. Rob Lowe is like America. He hasn't been great since Reagan was president. Unemployment is becoming more and more of a problem for him. I guess he just came off Parks and Rec, which was a popular show. And the Reagan thing, I don't. Okay, giving you a roast is the worst decision Comedy Central since they has made since they replaced Jon Stewart with the South African child. I actually think this joke is dead on. There's a Trevor Noah joke, the one immigrant I'm most excited to see deported. Am I white, people? Am I white? The white thing isn't funny. I think the Trevor Noah thing's dead on though. I mean, really, to say that's a Trevor Noah joke, the one I'm most excited to see deported. And who the fuck isn't excited to see him deported? Glad to see Comedy Central acknowledge Trevor Noah sucks though. Okay, I gotta say, I think I was won over, and probably should have said these jokes instead of her jokes. These are better jokes. I don't think they're all good, but they're better than some of the jokes that were used to attack her. Some of the jokes that were used to attack her weren't funny at all, and these are actually pretty clever. So where the fuck were these when they were attacking her? That's weird. Uh, I couldn't use much of what's given to me by the network because of Comedy Central decision to shift away from humor. Coulter said to shift away from humor. I get what she means in some way that it wasn't necessarily about comedy as it became solely about attacking. It became a left right thing. And I don't think that was a good basis to take the roast. I gotta say, seeing some of those jokes, I forgot. I'm kind of won over though. I do think she should have done the jokes and played ball if she was going to go on. But at the same time, I'm not going to defend those jokes because I still think those are really crappy jokes. You're like, oh, you're the patriarchy. You hate SJWs. You're just going to defend Ann Coulter. No, I legitimately think it was very angry and mean and meant to be that way. And it lacked a real sense of commentary because of that. They let their anger and emotion overcome the humor. And the fact that it became such a celebration for people to watch people to do that on the internet. Everyone's just laughing and trying to say these are brilliant jokes. I don't quite get it. I don't get the phenomenon of it. Why it's such a big deal. Maybe it's just not funny to me, so it's just that probably. But I still think it. I, I don't know. It seemed like they got Ann Coulter. They did. She didn't want to work with them, which I get. She didn't want to work with them, and I think there's probably stuff we don't know that was said. And then they went to the roast, and everybody just decided to be really mean to her, which is fine. I just wish they would have written better jokes. If the jokes were funnier, I'd be all with this. But it seems like they were all just snickering and being self-congratulatory and being like, "Oh, we're gonna rip Ann Coulter a new asshole, and it'll blow up on social media," and it did. Um, I gotta say, one of the worst roasts they've ever put on. Really unfunny throughout, lacked a lot of humor. Rob Lowe being roasted was a bad idea. It was just stupid. Some of the worst lineup it was one of the worst lineups they've had. Just a fucking awful roast. I mean, this roast was like a D, so they tried to build the whole thing around just attacking Ann Coulter. That was the whole thing. They were like, "Well, if we can do this, we might be able to pull this off." I miss the classic Comedy Central roast that really fucking hit home. This is this is low tier. This is basic shit humor. I want a little bit more bite and get a better fucking lineup. Holy shit. I mean, oh my god, if the Avengers was back in the day, I mean, these guys are the equivalent of like Daredevil's sidekick's best friend. He's not even the other lawyer guy Daredevil had. God, I can't believe I can't think of Matt Murdock's Foggy. He's not even Foggy. He's Foggy's friend. I mean, that's it. That's how low level these guys are.